The House of Representatives is entering a third week with no full-time speaker for the first time in our country's history. The Republican majority is set to meet again tonight. There, Speaker nominee Jim Jordan of Ohio will look to sway dozens of colleagues who just voted against him last week. Congressional correspondent Lisa Desjardins is at the Capitol. So Lisa, House Republicans are planning a floor vote tomorrow afternoon. How close is Congressman Jim Jordan to securing the votes that he needs?
He has a ways to go still, as our reporting right now, but this meeting tonight could be critical in determining what happens for him. House Republicans went home exhausted by their own indecision last week. They've returned now with a little bit more rest. The ones I've seen have a little bit more spunk in their step, but they still aren't saying too much different than last week. There was a time when Mr. Jordan did speak to reporters earlier today, though. Here's what he said.
That's way we can help the American people is get the House open. We can't do that till we get a speaker. So let's get a speaker tomorrow and get back to work for the American people and help our dear and closest friend, the state of Israel.
Are you preparing for this to go multiple rounds tomorrow?
We're preparing to get a speaker tomorrow.
That with my colleague Rachel Scott from ABC News. Now, let's look at the math problem, really. This is what this all comes down to at this moment. As viewers may remember, what Mr. Jordan needs to become Speaker is about 217 votes in his favor. If he gets that, he would win. That's Plan A, but Plan B, this is how Mr. McCarthy became Speaker, was a lower number. In this case, he needs at least 213 votes, but with opponents voting present, not voting for someone else, but voting present. How many votes does Mr. Jordan have right now? Well, at the end of last week, he had 152. However, this was the news today, Jeff, that one by one, Jim Jordan has been able to reverse some of his opponents, getting some support today. That's something Steve Scalise wasn't able to do. An example is Ann Wagner of Missouri. She's a die-hard Steve Scalise supporter, but she came out with this statement today saying she had a long conversation with Jim Jordan, and in the end, among the reasons she is now voting for him is she says, he allayed my concerns about keeping government open and with a conservative kind of number for the budget. Jim Jordan was one of the architects of the whole government shutdown idea.
So Lisa, if Congressman Jordan can't get to 217 votes tomorrow, what happens?
A few things could happen. He could withdraw like Steve Scalise, but I think it is more likely that he would try and keep going on the floor as Kevin McCarthy did. At some point, this could just become intractable. There are some who are saying it's time to vote in for more powers for Speaker Pro Tem Patrick McHenry. And of course, there is still discussion about whether Democrats and some moderates will get together. I still don't think there's the momentum around the Republican Party for that yet.
All right, Lisa Desjardins. Lisa, thanks as always.
You're welcome.